Just want to watch this play out.
There's spit all over.
Hi, and welcome to the Bounties Chase campaign wrap-up. There are different levels of energy in this chat today. And yeah, we're going to be answering some questions. We have the amazing Lorelei Lee back with us for this. So thank you so much, Lauren, for joining us again to answer some questions. And if there's any questions you guys want to ask, want to ask in the chat, feel free to. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I really don't know what to do now. We'll probably do some announcements before we start. So I don't know who wants to talk about stuff.
I'm going off camera for a minute whilst I go get my dinner. So that's my announcement.
Okay.
I will admit, like, I just looked at YouTube just to see what everything would look. It looks so weird just seeing us, and there's no there's no layout, there's no, a character's name, there's no Roll20. It's so weird.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's just that.
Yeah. Load up Roll20. It's weird. Load it up.
I hate it here.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like change.
Brianna, do you want to talk about what's up and coming over the next few weeks and then into next year?
Yes. Hi. I'm Brianna, and so I've been mentioning it for a while. As the Bounties Chase comes to a close, my campaign comes to a beginning. Those are words. But before we get to my main campaign, Beneath the Mask, I will be running a mini campaign called Under the Veil, and it will be joined by Simon, Alex, Anthony, and Dylan. And so I released a video explaining the lore of my world, along with the new intro. So if you want a little bit more backstory of how the world is going to work, because we are taking place during the Spell Plague, a concept that I've dreamt about and had lots of ideas for almost a year now. And so I'm glad to finally execute. So leading up, go back in track. So that's premieres January 6th next year. But leading up to January 6th, I will be running session zeros with each of my characters. Usually when we do session zeros, it's private and your characters are like with one or two people. This time, everyone has their own session zero individually. And so I have a schedule of when everyone's doing their session zeros. I'm gonna look at the sticky note. So next Thursday, it will be Simon's session zero on November 11th. And then it'll go Dylan's session zero on November 18th. Followed in December, Anthony December 2nd, and Alex December 16th. And yeah, it's gonna be on my channel, Phantom Reaction, so go check it out.
Awesome. Lauren, I hate to put you on the spot while you're here, but do you want to talk about both your mini series and also Extra Life?
Yeah. Probably not going to be a session of the mini series this week because I'm ill prepared every time. So maybe next week. We'll see. I tried to schedule this thing in the beginning. Look how that turned out. Yeah, no, but yeah, we've already got 3 sessions of that in the bag somehow. So it's been fun, I think. I can't attest. But yeah, Extra Life is coming up. That I could talk with some more authority on. Even though I run the other one. Anyway, so we are going live for 24 hours on November 20th to raise money for the Cohen's Medical Center in New York City on the Children's Miracle Network. We're going to play some games, have some fun, do some really crazy stuff. I have sour cream and onion flavored cricket sitting here. So yeah. So come out, hang out with us. Liam's put the link in the chat, and donate for a great cause.
Why do you got crickets?
One of my coworkers subscribes to one of those monthly food boxes, and that was in their Halloween box. So they were like, "Hey, you want some crickets?" And I was like, "Sure, I can do things with those."
That works.
Yeah. Other announcements. You can follow me over on Twitch at Torchwood Boy. I'm playing a lot of Dark Souls lately, and I'm also starting Doom tomorrow. So make sure to check that out. Anthony, Liam, do you want to talk about your Twitch channels as well?
Yes,
Sure.
Liam_Catterson. I'm gonna be probably streaming maybe Sunday after Doctor Who. Yeah, I'll be playing more Miles Morales, so go and check that out. But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can follow me over on Twitch, Anthony Knight 1. That's the number 1. I don't know the next time I'm gonna be streaming, but hopefully soon.
Awesome.
I'm
Does anyone
back.
else have any announcements?
Yeah,
Okay.
my announcement is I'm back. I'll be back on camera once I've finished eating.
Okay. Dylan, do you have any announcements? We've done everyone else, so
Not really an announcement, just a question. Bree, can we please talk about batteries some more?
No, we have a scheduled programming. We're
That's
gonna
my
figure
question. That's the only one I have for the entire wrap up. Can we talk
No.
about batteries, Bree?
No, we're gonna go continue with our programming, our scheduled programming, talking about the Bounties chase and like wrap up and stuff. So we're gonna do that.
Hey, Alex, do batteries exist in the Bounties chase? Because I'd like to
Yes.
talk about them.
Do they
Oh,
sit anywhere
cool.
cold?
they do, but they can't survive in cold. It can damage them.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Go figure.
It's almost like they put warnings with stuff on like that. Keeping a moderately temperature.
Damn, that's
You
real
know.
fantasy.
I have no idea how this is going to go. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea the questions people have, if they have any. Some people might not have any questions, like me, and also Dylan. I kind of figured. So, yeah. Whoever wants to go, whoever wants to ask anything, just yeah, ask away, and you can ask each other as well. This is like an open floor. Think of this as like the Senate. Okay. Don't think of it as like the Senate. Think of it as like, yes, continue. Whoever wants to go, and I'm gonna hold for awkward silence.
I actually have
Comic-Con.
like
Oh,
a few.
okay.
Yeah, it's like Comic-Con.
Yeah, but we're all on the panel and we're all asking each other questions as well.
So I kind of went overboard with my questions.
We already know.
So this is the Senate. Bree's just gonna filibuster.
Yeah.
Ah,
But these questions are for everyone, so hopefully these can be like icebreaker questions. And then if you guys have more questions, they're yeah, because I have them by a category. So there's some questions for everyone, and then I have specific ones for Alex, Anthony, Simon, Liam, Dylan, and Lauren.
Ooh.
Well, fuck it. The floor is yours.
We're just grabbing the popcorn. Okay,
I'm
go
just
ahead.
saying. You put it in nice detailed order. You got us like questions underneath our names. You should go for it.
Listen, what did you
Spreadsheet.
expect from the note taker? I want you to really consider. What did you expect
I
from me?
already know. That's why the floor is yours.
Oh, okay. So I'll ask everyone, what was your favorite arc, including DM?
mine's pretty easy actually. My favorite arc was the going back in time arc that you guys did. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
We got to learn about. I was probably the one I was most excited for when I was writing, and definitely getting to see you all sort of have to realize sort of the consequences of who Malachi was, and you know how that sort of steamrolled into things, and the whole time travel plot itself. So yeah, there was a lot of great moments, but that was my favorite arc, definitely.
Definitely, I think the biggest jaw-dropping moment of the whole campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For sure.
especially the whole switcheroo with Malachi and Judson as well.
Yeah.
Like, that
Yeah.
was ooh,
That was something none of us saw coming, I think.
no.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like we finally got a question that I know was driving me insane of how the king knew who Jackson was, and I was just like, "What the fuck is going on?" But yeah, I have to agree. I think the time traveling is probably my favorite arc.
Yeah, I'm
Follow closely behind when we finally put an end to the chapter of Adri's backstory with Bird.
Oh yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
like my second close.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely up there, Adri's closure, especially with the fact that this is almost like, especially with not just Adri's connectivity, but like Sybil's connectivity and who she's related to. It's kind of like some an offspring of sorts, and it's nice to see like her story come to a close with Bird. It's something that is so fulfilling and so well executed. So yeah,
It was also Finch's first arc as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
Say goodbye to
Yeah,
Persephone,
I
and then
I showed up and you dragged me into the Feywild. Same session.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, holy shit, yeah. But yeah, Adri's arc, I think the whole Darkhold situation was well done, especially with how different each floor became, and just how well done the closing of the Book of the Bounties chase was. So the stakes were definitely high, and it was well done, and yeah, definitely went with certain consequences. So yeah.
I liked Pandemonium
Yeah.
because I got to play a
That was insane.
character that was a bit suspicious and unintentionally gave Finch her weapon.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Mine were-
Honestly, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Dylan.
I really liked the tournament arc. That one was just like so
Oh,
much fun
yeah.
to play through.
Mhm.
Like
It was.
from a player's point of view, honestly, that was like the most fun I had in the campaign. I think Darkhold being like a close second,
Yeah,
and
for
then
some-
like even
Go
though it
ahead.
was like really short, or at least wasn't like drawn out, which I don't think it could have been based on what I gave you, Alex. I just like Sister Matthew's arc. I thought that was a really fun change for me in terms of like kind of being more of myself with the character and also doing a bit more of the emotional stuff. That's
Yeah,
really fun to do.
Definitely. It was nice to break down Sister Matthew's walls and stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It went from very weird to very badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And that also introduced one of my favorite villains of all time, Strood.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
Fucking
Oh my.
And then he almost kicked our ass. Because
Yeah.
I was like,
You,
we
yo,
were
secret badass over
like,
here.
we're just like, oh
Yeah.
fuck. Oh fuck.
I mean, I really love the idea of having the blob incorporated with Strood. Like, I
Blob
like.
indeed.
I could not have imagined an incarnation of Mr. Blobby to coincide with Strood, but it happened. And it was absolutely haunting with how, like, as Bree said, how close it was to a TPK, really.
It was
So,
pretty
Yeah.
close.
was
Much to
like-
my surprise.
Also, like on when we went on break and then just spent like 15 minutes looking at Mr. Blobby video. That shit
Oh,
was
yeah.
honestly one of my favorite moments just in the entire game. Just us watching Christmas music videos.
Going back to my favorite arcs, definitely Pandemonium. I really liked that one because I think that unlocked feelings melody. Obviously McQuinn was her best friend and like she had these deep feelings for him, but just that like the few days were in Pandemonium and like that scared feeling, I feel like that was different for me to roleplay, but I thought it was a lot of fun. That and the safe arc, because holy shit, Anthony Jackson was so fucking funny. It's my favorite moment. Just him flirting with Carolina. I loved the safe arc so much.
oh,
It was so fun.
That was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna
it was
lie.
nuts. That was nuts. Like, yeah, some of the dialogue that Jackson came out with was just nuts. Like, I'll always remember him going like harder, and we always dropped.
And it's just fun too because then like our characters had to pretend that we were still the characters and safe. So it was something that like our characters ourselves had to do too. And then of course facing Fiona, I really liked that arc as well. And of course Adri's arc. But yeah, no, those two, Safe and Pandemonium, was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. I legit have no idea where that came from. Like, like Jackson's, Jax, his personality, I have no idea where that came from. I literally just kind of took what Alex gave me and I was just like, okay, how can I just make him the most opposite of what Jackson is? And yeah, I don't even know where that flirting aspect came from, but it was hilarious. It was a lot of fun.
Go, Lauren, go.
I really love the time travel arc, but I also have a soft spot for the war arc, just because that was when I joined the campaign for the first time under Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys went to war. It was that was an interesting one to sort of run, because I had it all planned out if you guys did go onto the battlefield and everything, and you never actually did. So it was an interesting one to sort of have to sort of plan for, because would you charge into battle on the front lines or would you stay behind? And you ultimately chose to stay behind and I think defend the camp at one point. And yeah. So it was different. It was interesting, and that also led to probably my favorite episode, which was Trick or Treat, which was the Halloween special, which was also session 40.
That was so good, and it was
gave
so
you
heartbreaking as well.
A twisted reality of
I
what
hated
you thought
that
was
episode.
real.
Quinn's words were just like, you could sense that heartache, and that was
my heartache. That was felt by me as well as Quinn. I could have murdered a pony at that point.
Pony?
Wow! Jeez!
Who says that I didn't?
Sense to go, but that was not it.
What a sentence!
Pony.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
Little Sebastian. I could have murdered little Sebastian.
Bye, little Sebastian.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Speaking of murder, that's a good segue, right? What was everyone's favorite how do you want to do this moment? Including DM, of course.
I don't have any, so I'm good.
You Land the Dread. That was so amazing. So, satisfactory, but yeah, really amazing.
I don't know.
I love how we've come to the second question. We've stunned everyone, Brianna.
Sorry.
What was yours, Brianna?
Yes.
What was yours?
Definitely my favorite how do you want to do this moment was Adri killing Bird, because it was a natural 20 and I wasn't expecting the fight to be over. I thought Bird was still like up, if that makes sense. Like it like caught me by surprise in that sense, and then like I was just so overwhelmed with emotion, and I'm so glad we took a break right after, because I was just an outright mess, like crying and like happy tears. But no, killing Bird, super satisfying, and I'm very happy that Adri got that kill, and it was a crit. So I'm like, perfect. It was just like the stars aligned like for this moment, and just like, okay, this is perfect. I loved it.
Yeah, it couldn't have. I feel like it couldn't have ended any other way. Really, it had to be like, it's especially the long-running arc that even predated the Bounties chase. For Adri, this was something that not just plagued her after Bird's initial demise, but also something that was very, very satisfactory and final.
Yeah, it was interesting. I know obviously I don't have one, but for me, my favorite character, how do you want to do this, was probably Melody killing Azik at the end. That was probably my favorite, because I was like, you did it, you won. And there was some moments where I thought you weren't gonna. So
same.
Same. I think one of my favorites was probably with Persephone and she got her daughter back. Just that whole sequence of getting the kill, jumping off and rescuing her daughter, popping out the wings.
Yeah.
Do you not remember what happened there?
I remember what happened. That's why it's my favorite.
Two natural
that-
ones.
Two
That's
natural
my
ones
favorite.
on advantage to catch her
Yeah.
daughter.
And then I said, no, fuck dice. This is for the story.
Yeah.
That's what's my favorite. I like
It's
how
like the dumbest sequence of events ever.
It was so funny and so fun.
it was.
Oh my goodness.
I think I have two. One of them is probably Strood. That's probably like personally the one I enjoyed because like we were so fucked.
Yeah.
We were so fucked. It was like 2 sessions after Laura left. It was our first real fight, and oh my god!
Yeah, you know when you prep a fight to have Lauren there, and then she leaves, and you're like, I'm not going to change it. It'll be fine.
I leave you guys for 2 seconds.
That's basically what happened.
And then second, probably the Tarask because I was in that thing's mouth and I didn't want to get swallowed. So that was real clutch. I was happy about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably those two though.
Nice. It's it's not everyone's going to remember that how do you want to do this, and not everyone's going to but I think as long as you guys enjoyed it, it doesn't really matter.
Absolutely.
I don't really remember any of my how do you want to do this. I feel like the most badass stuff happened like mid-fight,
Yeah, and that's
Same.
like I have to admit and say, like, the thing I remember about Finch was being that if it hadn't been for Finch, the Belmont Crystal Water fight would have definitely ended with some casualties.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he halved all magical damage, so it was like
I was the only non-caster.
he was the
Yeah.
only non-caster at the time.
Fucked.
It was just before Bibbo Buffon arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Oh yeah, because
Yep.
we went to the Feywild Wild afterwards. So
Mm-hmm.
Lord
Mira
Bibbo
showed
now.
up. Mira showed up, and we were like, "Oh no!"
I don't know why I thought of the fucking fight with not the Maestro, but I believe it was the Maestro's son. I'm forgetting his name.
The
I just
Mirror
rem-
Man.
The Mirror Man, yeah, we were fighting the Mirror Man, and I just got an image because that was a tough fight too, because we had to fight all the circus people, and I was scared. But just I remember specifically like Jackson's parents, like as cows running to go get to Jackson when he died.
Oh,
It was just
yeah.
like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
my god, like that broke my heart.
2 cows just standing over him.
Yeah, it was like funny, but like really sad and really cute at
Yeah,
the exact
yeah.
same time. It's just like, oh.
Yeah.
I really
Yes,
probably for a
it's
twist.
just-
Oh, Lauren.
Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
I was just gonna say it's really weird how many plot points revolved around cows in this game.
Yeah.
Because you also had your I can't remember what you called it, but whenever you would polymorph enemies into cows and then dimension them door.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
cow
Drop
splat.
them.
Yeah.
Cow splat!
Cow splat, yeah.
Yeah. That was our Fluffernutter, but we just didn't get to do it often enough.
No, yeah.
Happened the
It
was a
first
good
episode of
strategy.
Persephone.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, my
Yeah.
first episode playing and y'all did that.
A good way to lull her in.
Welcome to the group.
Initiation.
Yeah. This is us. Enjoy your stay.
What were you saying, Simon?
One of the most enjoyable how do you want to do this is for me was, and again, it's probably because it was fairly intense at the time, and it was quite early on. It was the Evangeline fight, the very first
Yeah.
Evangeline fight, where we had 2 dead colleagues, and the time was against us, and it was like, it was the intensity of like, right, we have to kill her, otherwise we're dead, and even if we kill her, what do we do? So when that happened, it was just the kind of the burst of intense emotions and like that on the moment thinking that you have to do sometimes that makes a moment kind of memorable. So that was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember thinking, like, during that fight, I was like, we're getting TPK. This is it.
Because session 9 or session 7?
11.
It was
11.
yeah, 11,
It was
12.
12, I think.
Yeah.
I just
'Cause-
remember like it was so bad that Leo and Dorian at the time, they were dead.
Yeah.
Everybody else was unconscious, and Melody was under the control of Evangeline at the time, and it literally came down to a dice roll. And I just remember Alex saying, I'm going to give you one chance. You make the save, you still get your attack. If you fail, TPK.
Yeah.
I think
Hey.
at that time we were also using plot points, so I think you used your plot point to get advantage on it,
Yeah.
if I remember.
Yeah, and that's how
Ah.
If I
Evangeline
recall
got into my head.
yeah, if I recall someone's face after I did that, but fuck it, I don't care anymore. I'm not having to DM. I can say what I want now.
That's
Fuck.
right. That is how Evangeline got in your
Yeah.
head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the consequence of the plot point,
Yeah.
which spawned a really fun little side thing for you.
Yeah,
so.
I really liked it. I like that plot
Yeah.
point. It's scary at the time, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. And like kind of adding to what Simon was saying, because like we had to leave. We had to kill Evangeline, and then like we had to like leave the premises before like the guards found us, because this was supposed to be a covert operation. So I'm like, it was that intensity too. We're just like, oh, we gotta go.
And you got to barbecue Leo and Dorian's bodies as well.
Yeah, that's very true. Yes.
Yeah.
We should have asked the king, really, when we met him and found out the truth. What did you ever do with those ashes in that room? You didn't keep them by any chance, did you?
I think we swept them up and put them in a dustbin.
Yeah.
It would have been strange actually, because the person coming up the stairs to find what all the noise was with soldiers would have been Gantar. So it would be interesting to see how he tried to help you get around it. But you guys fucking ran. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like, see ya. Wanna be ya.
I don't know if this was technically a how do you want to do this, but when we were all in hell and everyone just decided to turn on Belial.
That was so fun.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So
was
that
fun.
one image from Avatar: The Last Airbender, where like everyone's throwing like their attack, and they also see the boomerang in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit was fucking hilarious.
That was like a group. How do you want to do this? It
Yeah.
was just like instant. That was fun.
Oh man, that was
And what I really
brutal.
loved about that, because I kind of had a feeling that's what would happen. So Dante tricked Melody into giving over the power of the throne to him rather than her, which
Mhm.
doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
Following certain events, Dante is just another therapist in hell.
Yeah.
But
We get lunch from time to time.
Aw.
yeah. Yeah, he's not happy about it, but
No,
he's
they
also
can't do
working on
shit.
being. But he's also working on being a better person. So hey,
Well, that's good.
Mm.
yeah.
Dante's
take a while.
infirmary. That's what it's changed to now.
Yeah. Mm.
What was the
Lauren.
original ending for him?
Question.
That was good. That was really good.
Sorry, Anne, what was?
No, I was just asking, like, what was his original ending? Like, if let's say Dylan would never came up with the become the ruler of hell thing, what was your idea for Dante?
Dante would have just carried on ruling the fourth layer of hell, and he would have become maybe a problem if I ever decide to run anything else in that world. But it's going to be a little bit more difficult to run anything else in that world now. So
Listen, Alex, I did the kind thing with the first wish. Second time around, I learned my lesson. Do something big.
you did, yes, you certainly did something big. And yeah, it was interesting. Next question.
Do you like the
Oh.
idea that you sat there planning that new continent out, like believing that we were going to give you a chance to use it at some point?
Yeah. But it has meant that I've started looking into making my own world. So there you go. I hope you're all
Yay!
happy.
Hey,
But-
hell yeah.
Not for a very long time. So continue.
My next question for everyone would be, what was your favorite roleplay moment?
Oh, that's hard.
Okay, well, this is
Jesus.
a brain buster.
Actually, no, I've got mine.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got mine. No, don't, because I'll cry.
Why?
Agatha's death.
Oh
Yeah.
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 in the
That was
tree
a good
where you're
one.
all around her. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. No, that one fucked me up, but I loved it. That was my favorite. Or between that and Titania and Quinlan's interaction in Trick or Treat, Trick or Treat. Because it was very much of a Fae trying to do something that they perceived as kind, only for that to be really kind of messed up.
Yeah.
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 So it was, yeah, I enjoyed that one as well.
Ooh.
I think for me, one, playing Jax because he was a lot of fun, and most of my role play is Leo because Leo was just a beautiful idiot, and I just enjoyed like just role playing with him and just being able to say stupid shit.
I branded you dumb hunk in the group chat during the finale.
There is a part of me that's wanting to say that the first interactions between Carolina and Azik, it's been something that it was something that I've been wanting for quite some time. And I think just the fear and the dread that especially Azik presented was just really, really compelling to Carolina, especially with that pursuit of Juliet. I did like that moment as well where Balasar contacted Adri as well, because it was something that Alex messaged me about, and I loved the shock on Bree's face, something she didn't see coming whatsoever. So yeah.
Yeah, I heard you record it ahead of time and then we played it. You had no idea what the context was. I just said, say this in Balazar's voice.
Yeah.
That was all I gave. So it could have been anything.
Adri, die.
Okay, that seems.
I found my stuff.
That's
Fuck off.
Fuck.
I want a divorce.
Oh, jeez.
I'm pregnant. Wait, oh.
Whoa! Don't get me started.
And that's somebody
No.
being a switcher.
What does that mean?
I'm thinking of a certain conversation that happened. So
Oh,
yeah,
I'm done.
yeah,
More
yeah.
conversation?
okay.
I'll message you, Brie.
No.
Okay.
No, 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 no.
Not now.
Okay.
Not now.
Okay.
Later.
Any
But yeah.
whoosies?
I gotta say, I really like doing the bachelor party stuff. That was so much fun.
That was a lot of
great.
fun.
That was
Was-
insane.
I forgot about that arc. Honestly, I'd throw it up as my number 3. But like, oh my god, the wedding stuff was just so much fun.
Yeah, the wedding
Even
stuff
had
was a
Chaos
lot of fun.
Crew.
Yeah, that's the start of it right there.
That's great.
Oh man.
Wedding stuff was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
The two different side of things. Yeah.
I
There's
think also
like 3
sorry, go
things
ahead.
going on at once. We had like the bachelorette party, we had the
Yeah.
bachelor party, and then we had Finch and Quinn going off and robbing
Yes.
Mira without
Yeah.
knowing it was
Yeah.
Mira.
Yeah, almost dying.
it
Uh-huh.
was nuts.
When we realized that was Mira, oh my.
Oh yeah, yeah.
My favorite thing was in session 20, and I remember it very well. I ended the session with Mira giving a speech, and her last words were something like, "And I will make sure that you get exactly what you deserve." But I did it in such a way that it was like playing off really nicely. It's like Lady Flandlog, but I was like, but she really means I'm gonna fucking kill you all.
Make your house a bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like really love just like Jackson and Sister Matthew becoming gods.
Yeah,
that was
great.
I love how awkward it was. Because like it was totally it was intentional on my part. I don't know about you, Anthony, but like it just got so awkward so quick, and it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I don't know. That shit was great to me. And then
I love how like they were this same, like they were two sides of the same coin. How like Sister Matthew was super excited, and he was just like, "Oh, we're gods now. Don't even worry about it." And Jackson was just all calm. He was just like, "I don't really consider my no."
My God, no, come on.
If you'd have seen a statue of yourself, you'd have changed your mind.
Oh my god.
You did love the
Oh, man.
statues.
That
Okay, I
is-
want to point this out. Now the campaign's over. We don't have to play the intro anymore. I saw it the first moment I got the animated intro for session 100. I saw it. I saw that Jackson was staring at the statue and the statue looked naked. I saw it, but it was too late to do anything about it. And I just went, they won't notice.
Different
They-
people.
They won't notice.
What do you mean
They
it looks
know
naked?
it.
She is naked. She doesn't have
Literally
anything on her
got
top half.
Cloth draped on her arms.
You can see the seam of her spine. Like that's
That's detail. I mean, that is a
Wearing
detailed
leather
statue.
catsuit. What do you want from her?
Look at it. Look at it though. Look at it.
I just love his eyeline.
Is that his island?
It's direct.
I think someone who hates me, I actually hired someone who hates me. I was just like, I'm just gonna do this, and just...
It's the fact that when he opens his eyes, he glows. You know,
Yeah.
it's as if he sees, and it's like
I was like, when he opens his eyes, make the room glow around him. I
No,
didn't
he glows.
see.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Amazing. I love
didn't
that.
foresee it happening.
Oh man.
but I'm so glad it did.
Same.
Oh
Amazing.
my God. I am perfect.
Going back to favorite roleplay moments, Melody first meeting Finch. I had so much fun playing sassy Melody again.
Oh, that was
like-
hilarious.
like-
Something I never foresaw happening.
Yeah, me neither.
Was that
And so
tension.
like she was very sassy like early on, and then she had to like kind of take this like leadership role, and then so her getting to like be like extremely sassy, it was so much fun, and like I didn't see like half of the conversation going the way I thought it was gonna go, and like things just kind of just poured out, and I was just like spouting shit as Melody. It was a lot of fun. That one was a lot of fun. And then emotionally, I really liked the conversation Melody had with her mom Fiona in Pandemonium. I keep going back to that moment because I really love Pandemonium, but also just the Fiona like thinking that she's doing what's best for her daughter in her own convoluted way, thinking that like, hey, I love her, this is the way I'm sharing it, but it was just Melody's resolve and like, no, I'm not leaving without him, and like that's what love is, not what you want to give me. And so that was, again, it was like one of those, I'm an emotional person, and so like I didn't realize I was crying until halfway, so I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But I really enjoyed those two moments.
I really did love the bit with Carolina and Quinn when they were in Weymouth, and they went back to Carrie's father's old place to get the book.
oh yeah.
Carrie was a rat, and thanks to Quinn, and there was that exchange with the goblin that was just amazing.
I didn't forget the guard as well when we were trying to make it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
was-
sequence of events were just pure bliss, especially with the chaos of Carrie and Quinn. So
And I have to say, for as tenuous as session 10 was, the moment Melody sat on the roof and you hear a voice echo across the night, and everyone was like, whoa, Melody's interacting with a god, and then it was just a god telling her to shut the fuck up and go to sleep. That for me was
loved
and
it.
also I think session 2 or 3 where Quinn tricked the guards into thinking there was someone on the second floor, but it was a one-story house
Yes.
or a one-story
Yeah.
building. So that was
That really happened.
Yeah.
that really happened.
That's amazing.
I didn't know at the
They
time
were in jail.
that it was a one-story building, so I played it genuinely. And then I think Alex was like, "It's only a one-story building," and I was like, "Oh, let's play it anyway."
You
Makes
left you left that detail out of the notes you gave me. You made me miss out on that, Jeff.
oh my
That's amazing.
I like the fact
Think
that
about,
Billy Boyd was just a completely innocent shopkeeper at one point, and then the space of 5 minutes, his whole life turned upside down,
And then ended.
and then
Yeah.
yeah,
That
And
happened
he
with a
came
lot
back
of
with a
shopkeepers
vengeance.
and innkeepers.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyone
Oh,
I came
man.
across.
dangerous profession.
Mhm.
I think my favorite roleplay moment was having to lie to Mira when we were getting rid of the mother,
Mm.
Mm,
when we were using the artifact to send the mother back
Yeah.
in time, and I went out there and
yeah.
pretended I was
That was-
betraying you all.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was great. Oh,
The
Yeah, that
roles
whole
were so good. Like you did. That was amazing. That was a great moment.
I think there was a lot of tension in like that entire episode, and it was just really, really gripping. So
Especially Chiron's death.
Yeah.
yeah, I was.
It happened sort of so suddenly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Backing up to like earlier, either in that session or the session before, all of us totally catching on to that Angels bullshit. Just like, yeah, they're working for me. La, la, la. Like, oh, they're well taken care of, and just all of us like, no. Like, you can't pull the fucking wool over our eyes.
Happened a few times.
we
do,
were-
you, do you remember the Fae on the edge of the forest, who was actually a hunter?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I think in the same forest there was someone who invited us into their house, and they were like, "This person's dodgy," and they turned out to be a cannibal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Oh,
Yeah, they served you halfling.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we were like,
The
"Yeah,
Converse of that situation also happened where you come across a perfectly innocent person. and-
Like a gnome, for instance.
Like a gnome, which
Like
is
a
exactly what I was
garden
thinking of.
Yeah.
Was Melody hunting a garden gnome?
It was just the point where she'd gone past trusting anything. He was like, "Hello," and she was like, "Nope."
Yeet!
Just kicked him out.
And then
of
there was
existence.
a family of men.
kids."
Oh yeah.
Papa, can you hear
Like,
me?
oh fuck. Oh man.
Thinking back to like one of the earliest sessions, I loved how like Leo and Quinn they kind of fed off of one another, because I remember like there was this one session where they were in a room and I think somebody just knocked on the door because we were like going to the dance at the time,
Hmm.
and like somebody knocked on the door to give us our invitations and they knew our name. So Quinn looked at Leo, he was like, he knows our name, and Leo was just like, should we kill him? And he was dead serious, like
Yeah.
they just fed over. Like, I mean, it was short and sweet, but I really enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the friendship that should have blossomed but never got the chance to.
I feel like if Leo would survived, him and Quinn would have gotten so much fucking trouble.
Oh,
Yes. Absolutely.
I could see
Because
it.
Leo would have did it.
Yeah.
Leo would have been down for the chaos, not knowing.
Oh yeah.
You might have been down for more than just chaos if he'd have stuck around. Here's a
Yeah.
question for you, Bree.
Yeah.
Leo had not died, how do you see the love triangle having turned out between you, him, and Halson?
Ooh, that's a
Yeah.
good one. Okay, so I always kind of pictured like Halson as her first love. And so I think it would be like the kind of the same situation except reverse. Like Melody would want Halson to be safe and Halson to be okay, and she'd still want that relationship with him because they grew up together, they were neighbors, they've known each other since they were kids. And so I think if Leo was to like live and stuff and that whole thing happened, I think she would still want to at least work to at least have a friendship with him. Like I don't picture him not being in her life. Like Halson was always going to be there. I just didn't realize, like even when I kind of wrote Halson, I didn't realize how big of an impact he was going to be on her. And so when Alex kind of like took this direction with Halson, I was just like, oh, okay, I like this.
Leo was number one. Leo was number one in that situation.
In that situation, yeah, but just diving into like Melody's feelings between Leo and Halson was something that I didn't really see coming. I thought it was just going to be like black and white and like, oh, I like this one, or I like Leo, no, I like Halcyon. But it was a lot deeper than that, and it was like kind of hard to role play like her feelings and stuff. But I ended up really liking it. It was fun.
I will admit, I didn't see the impact that he had on her life coming. Like I always knew that Leo was gonna end up having a crush on Melody the minute that he saw her. That's just because that's how he was. But I didn't think that it could have potentially blossomed into anything. And then when he died, I didn't think it would have the lasting impact that it had on her.
Yo, me too. I didn't think it was gonna be like that too. And it's just like,
Because
I
they
don't
didn't
know.
know each other for very long.
No, they didn't. They really didn't. And so like it took me by surprise too, because Leo kind of met her when she was kind of at her lowest. So because like she sent her city to this guy, she thinks everyone's dead, and like she didn't want to sing anymore, and he was the first person to get her to sing at that carnival. Like she hadn't performed or anything until then. And so, because
Yeah,
I
that's
remember
right.
the very beginning, she was just telling like different phrases and stuff for Bardic Inspiration. She didn't sing. And so he was like the first person to like get her to do that. And so, yeah, when he died, I wasn't expecting that to happen either.
Oh yeah, because he did convince you to do the karaoke because you weren't gonna do it.
Nope.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
I will ask Bree actually. Like, say if did you have an idea mapped out if Halson did not return and whatnot?
At the end?
Yeah.
I did, because I asked Alex, because I'm like, do I know if Halson's gonna live or not? And he was like, you'll see. I'm like, okay. And so I kind of like wrote it out. So I'm like, okay, if Halson doesn't make it, she's gonna be spending a lot of time to herself. Like she'd probably still do her tour and still do all of that and still like bring up her music store and travel with Quinn and whoever wanted to go. But I think it would have taken her a while for her to like open her heart back up. And I could eventually see like her and Leo starting something, but it would definitely have to be slow. She wouldn't want to rush into it, and she would ask him to respect that she's always going to love Halson, and that that is not going to go away either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like me and Brie, like we talked about it briefly, just in case, like if he didn't come back, just as like I was trying to plan for like Leo's future. So I was like, hey, if Halson doesn't come back, what do you think would happen? So we talked about it briefly. And it was just interesting just to see like the two different directions that you have for one character, not knowing which way they're gonna go. Because Leo's life would have been completely different if he ended up with Melody, if Halson didn't come back. So I think that's the one aspect about D&D that I think that we all can admit that it's interesting because you never know which way something is gonna go. And it's fascinating.
Mm-hmm. What are you saying, babe? I think you're muted.
Nothing. It wouldn't be a D&D session. Oh,
If it helps, it's not.
yeah. Well, hate you. I'm never coming back to this game.
Me neither.
Oh, but I was gonna say I had a question about like that aspect of the game, but first Stuart has a question
Ooh!
in the chat.
Ooh.
He said, Alex, was there ever a monster encounter you regret not picking for whatever reason? And also, were you ever concerned about implementing time travel to this bunch of Chaos Lords?
I'll answer the
Chaos
second
Lords?
part first. Jesus Christ. I'll answer the second part first. Yes, I was. I was incredibly worried, and as I should have been. Luckily, we had some level-headed people to balance the insanity. But that could be said for a lot of things. And the dynamic certainly shifted to a more chaotic route, I think, when Lauren left. I feel like Anthony was outnumbered, and thus more chaos happened. Some better, some interesting. No, but as for was there ever a monster I didn't pick? I mean, there was one, but I actually kind of brought it back at the end, which was the aboleth. I almost had you guys fight the aboleth before the drow in like session 28. Which would have been a very difficult fight. But that was a long time ago. That was a session where one of I think it was it Jesse who died. I forget, there was a lot. But
Sammy.
Oh, was it Sammy? Sammy who died, yeah.
Which death was it? The suicide death?
Yeah, the suicide
Yeah,
death.
that was Sammy.
Yeah. Sammy, yeah. It would be that fight. But it was just coming down to time and stuff. So I brought him back around for the Darkhold, which was cool. It would have been a different aboleth, not as powerful, obviously. And I also always really, really, really wanted to use a giant shark, which I know is surprising. But I had this giant shark when I wanted to wield the power of a giant shark, but I never got to use it. So you never know, if I ever run anything in the future, that might be in it. There's a potential spoiler for anyone who'd watch anything I ever made again.
Giant land shark.
Yeah, land shark. I'm glad I included the land sharks.
Land sharks are fun.
They were cool. Also, actually, I did think of another one. Sorry. I forgot the king of the ghouls. The only reason I didn't use that was because it was mentioned in Simon's campaign a little while before, and I saw it, and I had like a little arc for it, and I was like, no, I can't do it because it's going to be too close, so I threw that away. But I would have loved to have used that character as well, and I'd like to see that used at some point. That's it. Thank you, Stuart.
Yeah, you guys went away from the King of the Ghouls on my campaign. You could have gone and met him, but you decided not to, so that's why that never happened.
Interesting. Back to a question for everyone. Does everyone have like a favorite story twist?
I wrote it, so actually, I have a couple of.
Was there a twist that caught you off guard that we did?
Yeah, quite a few. Quite a few. Eversort, that was a big one. We're gonna go to Eversort. I'm like, excuse me.
He gave us a powerful
You hadn't
wizard.
done that. If you hadn't done that,
wizard.
yeah. And do you know what? I didn't even think about it until the moment Melody was like, "They're a teleportation wizard, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh fuck." I legitimately did not think. I created Agatha as Agatha wasn't even. No, that's getting into something else. But I created this character and I put her there, and I was like, "Yeah, but she'll be like a master of teleportation." And it did not even occur to me that you'd want to teleport up to Eversalt. That was just not even in my brain. So that was a big one. The very beginning when you guys headed south to Sazale straight away, I had stuff in the west with the wall where that wouldn't have built up so much, so that became a bigger plot over there. Yeah, there were a lot of twists and turns. There was one near the end of the game. When you decided to go to Sister Matthew's hometown, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see you guys go in there. But I'm glad you did, because it gave me a chance to really go off the wall and kind of create something that was only moderately planned and actually give it some substance. So I enjoyed that a lot as well. Yeah.
For me, I think the biggest twist is when we all died and went to safe and became new characters, essentially.
Yeah, that was huge.
Same Z.
Yeah.
Same Z.
Didn't see that coming. It was just Alex just started saying, like, everybody just started dropping, and it was just like, well, wait, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
And
I gotta agree. That bit was just like, especially coming off a very, very intense confrontation, and just everything that came about with that session, just to have things close out on that moment was pretty intense. So yeah, but I definitely say that was probably one of my favorite twists as well. So
The time travel Malachi plot twist.
Yeah.
My favorite, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have a really dumb one and then like an actual one.
Okay.
Go for it.
Dumb one first. It's not a twist really. It's just something that really took me by surprise in the game. When what was it? Jackson and Melody got turned into lobsters.
Yes.
Jackson, Melody, and the god of all gods were turned into lobsters.
Ayo was a lobster.
Oh my god!
Ayo the lobster.
He went along for the ride. He was having fun. He was having a great time, living his best life. You know?
About that. Holy shit! No, yeah, that was like really surprising. I fully did not know what the fuck to do in that situation. Because like half of us ended up somewhere else, and then
The best
Oh,
bit
man.
was I was like, they'll never teleport here, so I don't have to make a list for this. And then you were all like, we're gonna do it. So I was like, okay, roll on the list. And there was no list.
Wasn't that one of those situations where we did it and then like right after we did it, we were like, oh wait, we weren't supposed to do that, were we?
Yeah, it was one of those like,
We
uh-oh.
fucked
There
up.
were a few of
Yeah.
those.
There was a few of those.
There was no list, so I immediately was like, well, guess I'm just making sure.
You fluffed a roll?
Oh, yes. There's only ones you can really, because I always rolled on screen. So, you know, my only fluff was sort of like making shit up that I didn't expect at the time.
it was so funny. And then I think the actual one, because I think we all got so wrapped up in it at the moment of like trying to figure out what we were gonna do to fix things, was Quinn getting kidnapped by the maestro.
Yeah.
And then us as players realizing that like, oh no, he's not just in jail, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
like that tension of getting there, and then oh my god, yeah,
hmm
Yeah.
that
I've
was
also-
that was a crazy one for me. Like, I think we all knew something was up with that kid, but like we did not expect
Yeah.
Yeah.
what turned out.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. I've also got this. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was also going to throw in the wish against Emma Crane as well. Like
yeah.
that was just
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite a twist for
that
me as
was-
well.
that
I was
was
really looking forward to running that motherfucking
The
fight.
Alex now peanut butter jelly sandwich sounds pretty good, huh?
Oh, it does.
It was just so
Okay.
badass, and then I just really loved the utilization of it. Like, can we wish a death on one of our enemies? Emma Crane. Yeah, okay, so that was great.
I mean, his son fucked me up. I was gonna kill him.
Yeah, yeah.
I had the
Yeah.
power.
He killed his son, killed me. So it was
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
the first time. I think that was the first time Quinn died.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Dang, you died a lot after I
After
showed
that,
up.
yeah, it was like you know, you break the seal, and it's just
That's it.
yeah. The obvious one for me was the lost and found moment, where the twist is like, oh no, everybody's still dead. Well, look at what you could have had. But the other one, which was a bit more humorous and also like, oh fuck, was the pirate not being a badass as we expected,
Yeah.
Yes.
and just being a complete coward and getting himself killed. Because it was like,
Yeah.
at that point, we just lost the priest. And we're like, it's all right, we got 2 more chances. And then immediately went and got the pirate killed within the first session of meeting him. Well, no, he
He
didn't get him
didn't
killed.
do anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
Well,
did
to be
that
fair,
all on
To
his
be
own.
fair, I feel like our tactics in that fight were not adapted to the fact that he was a fucking moron.
Yeah,
Because
that's
we
true.
were all trying to kill people and no one was
There's-
paying attention to him.
He kept running.
There's only
That's
so
what I
much
mean.
we could do apart from putting a whole person on him, which would have gotten him killed faster.
Yeah. He ran to the edge of the boat, then tried to
And
jump
jumped.
off, and then got
Yeah.
hooked.
Yeah. We
He
just
was like
what?
cans you rattle, you attach to the back of a car when you get married. On that boat, he was just fucking hitting the water like.
Those cans had more
That
spine
was-
than he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
He was,
you're right there.
He was a natural coward. He was a natural,
I will admit,
saw
like speaking
trouble,
for
he ran.
for speaking about twists, like just that fight on the boat. I don't think any of us was expecting to fight a member of the Bounty Chase
Yeah, me
on that
neither.
boat.
When I rolled that fucking
Yeah,
encounter.
right.
Yeah,
That was
very-
all a random encounter. That was all around. And do you know what? That cut off like a couple of sessions on the Pirates Island and learning more about him and why he was the way he was. And you missed a great character who I can reveal now. It was basically like this really cheerful, like little half gnome lady, and she was like, "Oh, hello there! Oh, yeah." And she was really like happy and excited. Yeah, she was really happy and excitable. It turned out that she actually died like 80 years ago, and he'd just been keeping her around as undead, but not told her. It was really
Jeez.
messed up.
God.
So she was like, he actually like killed her son and everything, but he wiped her memory and then just kept her alive because he liked her. He was like, he found her quite amusing. He was a real asshole.
He was a
But
real
Jesus
asshole.
Christ, that's
no one
awful.
alive, but no one alive could trust him, so he had to be around undead.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Enemy,
that was good.
enemy of my enemy is still a bitch.
Yeah, that's it. Words
Best
to live by.
tagline from this campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lauren, you had a question earlier, right?
Yeah. It kind of goes along with like the unexpected happening, but like it's kind of two-parter. Like, what's something that you never planned for your character that ended up becoming like a big part of your character? And conversely, what was something that you had planned to do that got completely derailed because of circumstances or choices?
Like that Leo and Dorian's is going to be live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty big one.
That will do it. That will do it.
Honestly, go
I
ahead.
think
my imagination of my character's story was a bit different because I'd imagined some of his origins a bit differently than what it turned out to be. So originally the way I'd written it was that, and this was in my mind at least, was that the destruction of his village was his fault because of his wild magic. So when that turned out, so for me it was like he's going to go on a journey of like learning how to control it, learning to come to terms with the fact that he was guilty for doing that, and trying to make amends for it and trying to find the survivors to see what he could do to make amends. So that was kind of like turned when it turns out it was actually an attack, and then it was Dora that cast the spell that or at least the meteor swarm spell is what caused the destruction, and Dora also cast, I think it was a similar spell. So that turned out differently than I expected when I originally made the character, but it added in extra elements that I wasn't expecting as well.
Yeah, I think what was interesting about that was that it had also been like Quinn from Trauma had sort of pushed these sort of fake thoughts into his psyche. So, he thought he was responsible, and that was, so it was good to go in like that as a player as well, I suppose,
Mm-hmm. I'll admit, when I made Melody, I was prepared to flirt. I was prepared to be going all out. Like, you saw a little bit in the first 10 sessions, she flirt with everyone to get gain or whatever. And that all changed when Leo died. I wasn't expecting for her to get so attached, and so that was something that I had originally planned for her to do, and then that changed. And also Halson, I didn't think he would be as prominent in the campaign as he was. I loved him, and I'm glad my idea for this character got turned into something else, and it was something that I loved. But I thought their whole dynamic was still gonna be that not love hate, but just not toxic, but just just their back and forth and stuff. I thought that was gonna be still something that, from what I written, to what was going to be happening during the campaign. But then the introduced feelings, and then no, actually, I truly do fucking care about you, that. I liked the direction that we went in that aspect, and it was kind of different because traditionally bards, they flirt, they are sleep with everyone, la la la. So it was interesting going from what I had planned to do to her hi Zuko, to what it became of Melody like that.
I think with
Oh, go ahead, Liam. You go first.
I think with Carolina, when I first introduced her, I was thinking that okay, she's not going to get with anyone because Mabel died, and she's going to be too banged up about her death, and I didn't kind of expect Harlissa to enter the fray for her. I wasn't really sure about how that would go down in like the long run and whatnot, because I was thinking about the fact that, well, is I was thinking about how is Carrie it's not like something that she really pursues, but I think along the way she obviously had that acceptance that it's okay to try and find happiness. Like even that confrontation with Mabel, there was that comfort for her, and it allowed her to, I guess, lower her walls in a sense and try to be happy again. So yeah,
I think kind of similar to both of you, honestly. Like with Sister Matthew originally, I was like, ah, yes, I will flirt. Never happened. Like I wrote Julia in there as like a thing of like, okay, this would be a cool thing if Alex wants to use it. I'm happy. Like if not, I'll like try something else. And then like he gets rejected, and I'm like, this is someone who's never experienced any of that shit before. And he's in a new situation with new people, and they're killing shit, and he's almost dying like every other fucking day. He's gonna shut the fuck down. And then he did, and he never really recovered from that. And that kind of became his story arc. And secondly, the fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich, literally just a joke. Alex was like, think of a wish. Roll the dice, see what happens. And I'm like, I can't think of a wish. Like, Sister Matthew doesn't have any ties to these people. He doesn't know anything about them. Like, Lauren, I didn't know about your Baba Yaga thing. If I knew about that, he would have probably wished for that. But he didn't, because he just met them that day. And so I was like, what would he wish for? World peace? I can't do that. They'll fuck up Alex's game. So I'm like, I don't know, a sandwich? It's probably like lunchtime. And I sent it to Alex, rolled, got it, and then it just became this thing. Like, that was the rest of his story arc. It was just like, anytime, you want a sandwich? And then he also ends up owning a sandwich shop. And I'm just like, this is not intentional at all. Also, if I could have chosen a different sandwich, I fucking would have. I don't even like peanut butter jelly that much. It's like mid-tier at best. I should have done something different. I didn't realize how it would stick with me for so long.
There is two things actually as well with Carrie. The drape situation, which yeah.
I chose the wrong time to drink water.
I just rolled along with that after it was just too good. So yeah, I decided she's gonna she's weird, so of course she's going to be a fan of that. So yeah. And then Miles. Miles, it was just something random, and then I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to make this a habit. He's my adopted son or whatever. And every time we rolled a bloody 73, yeah.
Rolled so many times.
So many times.
It was like the most rolled one on that team.
Yeah.
Been like 6 or 7 times, which is ridiculous.
I know, I killed him at least 3 times.
Let's see. I think for Jackson, ultimately forgiving and understanding Alkane. I didn't see that coming for him. I always kind of envisioned whatever Jackson figured out what this voice was, that he was just going to become angry. And you know, I mean, he's been tormented and tortured by this voice that he had no idea about. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into this. Jackson is just gonna be like to himself. He's gonna like be like very shy, not make eye contact with people. And it was just all that just kind of went out the window at some point. And then I think this leads into like another favorite moment of mine is when I caught Alex off guard, where Alkane came back and he was talking to Jackson, and Jackson pretty much was like, I should have been this way with you. You never experienced love. Maybe I'm the one that's supposed to show you that, and you know, try to hug him and all that. And I was just like, the fuck did that come from?
I remember
So, yeah, I was
Alex's
excited.
face when that happened too. Like
Yeah.
that was amazing. I really liked that moment too.
I will jump on the train of I also plan to flirt with everyone as Finch.
Look at us go!
Social awkwardness.
I specifically came in with the intention of flirting incessantly with Melody, but then Melody was immediately a huge bitch.
Oh man,
What
how
could
that would
have
have changed everything!
What could have been?
Oh wow!
So that got derailed pretty fast.
Oh no.
I literally just remember, like, as you explaining your character, it was just like, wait, that's what Melody's wearing.
Yeah, yeah. I just really loved it. Like they were so alike, and oh, what could have been?
Man, that would have changed a lot of moments.
Yeah, that that was a thing. I also didn't see the whole Malachi thing coming at all.
Yeah.
Also had a pretty embarrassing inception of that idea with me. Because it was the most innocuous conversation while we were on that airship back in time, but I can't remember what it was. Someone like egged him on, and Alex, you as Malachi, said, "You know, I could rip your throat out with my teeth," and I immediately just went. And that's when I said, "I'm gonna fuck the dragon."
Holy shit.
That's so
Amazing. I remember you messaged me at that moment. I lost it. I'm like, yes, do it, baby.
And I also didn't plan on revealing Persephone's backstory quite that early. But the first episode, Alex put a dead child in front of Persephone. The first fight! I'd been there for 10 minutes. Like, yeah, she's gonna have a panic attack.
What I'm hearing is a lot of this being my fault.
I'm just saying, you derailed all my plans in that first episode.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Bree derailed all of my plans in the first episode with Finch. So
To be
I
fair,
could have had some
Fin-
very different characters.
Finch derailed all my plans to actually be nice to her when she stole from me straight away.
Oh.
I was like, you know what? This is a character Quinn's going to get on with. Me and Lauren are going to get on really well now. And like 5 minutes in, I steal his amulet of health. And I'm like, okay. Out the window.
I came in like a chaotic neutral thief. I don't know what you want from me.
Pick on Carolina.
Everyone else picked on Carolina. I had to choose someone else.
Holy shit.
Going back to the Persephone bit, I think that also like one of my favorite roleplay moments with you, Lauren, was they were like in the room together or whatever. They were getting ready, and like a stuffed bunny like fell out of her bag, and Melly went to
Oh.
pick it up, and like she snatched it out of her hand, and it was just one of those like they both knew what was happening, and they both I remember Melody freezing up like, I'm sorry, like when you want to talk, we're ready. I promise I'm not going to say anything. And it was just that like mutual understanding, like, okay, I can trust you with this information. I can trust that you're not going to out this. Like that was the start of their relationship, and I really liked it. Anyway, back to Quinn and Finch's relationship going down the drain.
Next question.
I got a couple questions, if you don't mind, Brie.
Oh, good.
This is a quick one for you, Alex, because I have no concept of time. How long was Sister Matthew with the group? Because in my mind it was like a year plus. I don't know. Liam said something in the Liam said something that in the final session. He was like, "Yeah, it's been a nice few months." And went, "Huh?"
I'll tell you.
Oh my god.
It's been quite a while, actually.
We had a shit ton of time, like when we were asleep and stuff too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
When
I
did
feel like
you
it's at
join?
least a year.
When did you join
Yeah.
the group? Did you join before? It was after the Feywild.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
you
right
joined
after the Feywild.
Right after the Feywild.
Yeah.
It was like
after
maybe
Feywild.
like a few sessions after that.
239 days. So, like,
But is that
Less than a year.
is that
Less than a
linear
year.
time that the group experienced, or is that including time skips from when like the
including
group were on
times.
different?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's including Saith and everything. So,
Okay.
Right.
That's it. Fuck.
Yeah, so 8 months. 8 months.
Jeez.
Not bad.
A lot
Not bad,
happens
8
in
It
this
was
months.
world.
quick.
A lot happens
happened?
in this world. But to be fair, from start to finish of this campaign, so much more than that.
Yeah, no, because I was saying, I'm like,
Yeah.
Melody was only like, because she was 18 when the group met. She turned 19 halfway through.
480 days.
That's
So
Yeah.
a year and a half.
Wow. That's
wow.
trippy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And it's because obviously, you play it
Yeah.
once a week.
You're playing it over
so-
like
Yeah.
literally 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
In my case. So
And when we
yeah.
actively role play every day, then yeah.
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 Yeah, that's true. And then my second question is for everybody. Is there like a favorite moment or moments you guys had for your characters, like a badass moment? Like that you specifically had?
I have one for all of you who were there at the time. I don't think Lauren or Dylan were, but Underdark, you turned one of my fights into a rave. There was a Triceratops. There was a unicorn, a Triceratops. There was both divine holy light and also like spiritual guardians flying around.
Yeah.
It was just fucking insane. I think Brittle threw out a fucking what's it called? Fairy fire, so that lit up the area. Yeah, it was just like all it needed was a disco ball and some sick beats, and you were in the club. Yeah, it was incredible. In fact, I think there was a disco ball. I'm not actually lying. I think there was at one point a disco ball. Somehow, I don't recall, but yeah, that was my sort of favorite bit.
I think one of my favorites for me was just shutting down Alex's crits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll cancel that.
I had a lot of unluck on those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
I just love moments where going back to bullying the DM every time the portents are used, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do that, and
yeah, that was real fun.
I think a specific moment was me and Liam's session zeros as
yes,
Jackson and Raiden. It was the first time that I used my
vulnerability ability.
The vulnerability.
Yeah.
And when I used it,
Crit.
Liam came in and he crit. So it doubled the crit.
Yeah.
I think we were facing like giants at the time.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
fighting
we were.
Ettins, which I thought was going to be like way too much for a 2-party group, and then you just fucking steamrolled. So I threw 2 more at them, and you killed them. I was like, oh, fuck this. Session's over.
That was amazing. Oh.
I think mine was in the tournament where vulnerability combined with my natural 20 and sneak attack to make over 300 points of damage in one hit.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That felt great.
I was gonna say our wombo combo in those fights was just like,
Yeah.
That was great.
oh my god.
Yeah.
I wish we got to do that more because it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
There's
You
a
guys
few
made
moments- go ahead.
developing fights challenging.
Ooh.
Well,
Badass moments for me. Definitely during the tournament. I think Melody definitely displayed lots of strength, especially towards the leader of forgot her name. The leader of the other.
the
believe that bitch was what we had dubbed her at the time.
Yeah.
the Woven Claw.
The Woven
Sorry.
Claw, yeah. I
Yay.
actually ended up really liking her and got wanting to get to know her more and like mayhaps like doing a friendship. But that whole tournament, like I was very surprised at how well I was rolling and how like during that fight against them, like I was able to like use Bardic Inspiration, Counterspell. Like I felt Melody felt like a leader compared to the leader of the Woven Claw because they were like organized, la la la. And so she felt pretty badass at that moment, like during like fighting and like proving their worth and proving that we were fucking badass. And namely, felt super fucking badass when I controlled Emma Crane's dead son because they just killed Quinn and I
Yeah.
used Abolish Soul. I was only able to use that only a few times, so when I was able with that ability, like when they die I can control them for however many minutes depending on what I rolled. That was so fucking badass. I'm like, okay, I wish I was able to do that more, but just no time was able ever to arise. But yeah, fucking loved that moment.
I think for me, probably my favorite one, and it's odd because it's an outside of combat one, was probably like, I forget where we were. It was when I went into the church and called up my dad.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were in
yes.
Erebor.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
Yeah.
went into a church of.
It's right before we
Silurian.
got into the shit with the angel.
Not Silurian. I always called it Silurian though, ever since Lauren's character's daughter. It was in the church of
Selene?
Salune. Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
the moon goddess, right?
The moon weaver. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That I don't know. For some reason, that role play moment just clicked for me, and I was like, okay, I'm badass now. For some reason, what the fuck is happening? And I'm just like, how do I keep this going? But yeah, that was that, and the in combat stuff, the wombo combos with you, Lauren, were just like,
Oh yeah.
that shit was so good. And then also probably like, I want to say like in the my first real fight with you guys, where like, what was the other adventuring group we took on?
The Crimson Guard.
Crimson Guard.
Where like we went into that fight. I think it was literally my first fight with Sister Matthew, and Alex was like, "Yeah, they have a Vorpal sword." I'm like, "Cool. I guess I'm rolling up a new character sheet."
Yeah.
Very
once again, it was me going, "Oh, this will be good." And then when you killed them and took the sword, I was like, "Oh no."
But yeah, like legit, like I think Quinn and Melody died in that fight.
Yeah.
And I was like one of the last ones standing. I think I managed to get the kill on her, on the leader, and like that was a really fun combat session, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Simon?
You muted.
Muted.
Okay, sorry. There's a few moments where it's like, I mean, I remember killing someone. I think it was actually in the Underdark, killing someone by pushing a statue on top of them. There was
That's correct. Yes. Yeah. I recall.
any time I was ball being Axto and commanding people inadvertently and then actually getting made a commander. There was, I think, the immediate aftermath where I just let loose on Willow after Lost and Found. Or Trick or Treat, sorry. I don't know why I keep calling it Lost and Found. And there's a few other moments, like first time I turned into a dragon, I think, during the tournament was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, Quinn was kind of like low key just was trying to, not be, he's trying to support the group rather than being the main offense or the main kind of talker when it comes to like the serious moments.
Well, I can tell you, you definitely didn't come off as low key.
Well, I mean, more in the combat sense. The wild magic probably, made it more, opaque than that. Like, there were definitely some wild moments with that.
Oh, 100%.
I will also say, like, dealing with Belmont as well, like, especially when Evangeline just dragged him after Carolina got him, and he kept saying, "Oh, you're special." That was that was a cool moment, and then of course that followed with Mira approaching, and it was really cool, those sequence of events. But I feel like Carrie dealing with Belmont, and then Evangeline just dragging him as if he's getting pulled through the gates of hell, essentially. That was pretty sick. So
I would also say for Finch, using the bracelet to call for help in the fight with the pirate on the ship after because Quinn had just died and gotten thrown out into the water, and like I had to make a rule to see him and to swim after him, and then just like still treading water and trying not to drown us both, like using that to call for help. That was a pretty cool one too.
Yeah, definitely. You guys had a lot of badass moments, in my opinion. You really kicked us. Next question.
Okay, so this question is like mainly for Liam, Anthony, and Alex. So for Liam and Anthony, with you two having lost your original characters, what were some backstory moments that weren't brought up before they died? Were there certain aspects of playing the character you were excited for? And for Alex, where'd that question go? What were some of the twists you had prepared for their characters?
Ooh.
I mean, it kind of got revealed for Leo, but I was excited to continue to role play the dual aspect of his father being in his head and his father taking over. Because it wasn't so much like his father was trying to take over, like he was trying to take control of his son's body to come back to life. It was just more so when he took over, that was his father's way of trying to protect his son. Like, okay, you don't know as much as I do, let me help you. So I was excited to play that aspect of it. So I was a little sad that I didn't get to role play that. But I will say, for like when Jackson came in, at least combat wise, Jackson was a little difficult for me because I had just came off of playing a barbarian, and then in a different campaign, and then I went to playing a monk, and now I'm playing a cleric. And I'm like, okay, so now at this point, one, I got to get used to spells. Two, I have to know when to attack, when to heal, when to be support. So in the end, like Jackson just became more of support. Like he did damage, but not too much. But learning that in the beginning while playing this new character, that was a little difficult for me. I think that's about it for me.
Yeah, I mean, for Dorian, I mean, there wasn't that, like, he was only in for like several episodes, but obviously after he died, there was that revelation for Jackson and Ryden that his father, well, he died shortly after. So but he would have, like, I feel like it would have been very interesting to see how he would have handled his father's demise once he would inevitably be told. So yeah, because I still feel that would have happened regardless. So yeah, but for Raiden, yeah, I mean, I did actually have it. I don't know, because I did actually envision him going into a more darkened state of things, which was something that I kind of revitalized for the ending. But that was for a different reason with Azek. But I wanted to like have that moment of where he wouldn't be as constantly smiling as you know he did. So I wanted that bit of depth for his character. So I would have loved to have seen that direction go around, because yeah, I had a very, very depressive arc for him in mind. But yeah, so
Me, Leo we managed to sort of tell a lot of Leo's story through the proxy of others and through sort of history and sort of combining it with, you know, the Azek plot and the Montague plot. Dorian, his father, you know, he was killed by an experiment Molestoni did on him. His mother is still out there. And I almost included in the final episode a little note from Dorian that would show that he was alive back in the world. But I decided to actually keep him not... He would just be in Elysium now again. He would be back there. But his mother was a member of the Thieves Guild, and that would have been something we could have explored together, but that never got to come up. It came up separately when she tried to step in at one point to help you guys, but it never really came to its full potential. So yeah, that was sort of with Dorian. And then with Raiden, I would have liked to have got into his family a bit more, his brother, and Raiden, you know, him sort of having a sort of rivalry against Emma Crane. I would have liked to have seen that. Raiden's death was probably the most surprising to me, to be honest. It was probably the one that actually struck me really sort of like, whoa, I didn't see this coming. But on the other hand, it birthed what I think is Liam's best ever character. So in Carolina, so you know, it was a fair trade, I felt. But yeah, yeah, I think
you say that it came as a shock to you, but didn't he die in the episode before he permanently died as well? Wasn't it like a back-to-back?
He did,
death?
yeah. He had like I think it was 3 episodes in a row. I think what surprised me was that the Revivify failed, sorry, and then the Resurrection failed as well. That's what surprised me, I think, about his death.
Yeah.
I think as well, because obviously we know how Emma Crane died. I don't know how he would have handled that if things
I was thinking
panned out, because obviously he wouldn't feel comfortable with the way he died. He would have loved to have a hands-on approach with his animosity to Emma Crane, and so if he stuck around for that time and then things played out, I think he would have really taken that really badly, because he would have wanted to deal with it himself. So
yeah.
I think it was also interesting that Raiden permanently dying kind of led into me taking a risk with Jackson for how he was handling everything. Because I remember messaging Alex like, you know, that this is what I wanted to do with Jackson. And I understood that it was a risk. And I just think that because I've never taken a risk that big of my own choice for a character, just knowing that this could go left, I can lose this character. So I think that was interesting. That, you know, despite losing these characters, a lot of good came from it.
Yeah,
Definitely. Next question.
We'll go to the chat. Off the top of my brain, I'd say, what was running through your minds for those who portrayed them, but when what?
I think it's when you were fighting the clone versions of Leo, Dory, and Belmont. You basically, there was a point where you had to roll for different enemies to appear, and it actually appeared. Some of your friends appeared. I think Belmont, Crystal. I'm trying to remember the actual situation as to why that happened. But
it was the session that Raiden died. It was Yano's trials to get the sword.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay,
you
that's
ended up
right.
having to fight versions of Fallen.
That's correct. Yeah.
Was it Valen that we were fighting as well?
Yeah.
Let's see, what was running through my mind? Okay, so for me, what was running through my mind when a clone of Leo popped up? Part of me was thinking like, okay, how are we going to deal with this? Because I already knew Melody was never going to attack Leo. And then just from Jackson's perspective, he didn't know the characters. I mean, he knew the name, but that was really about it. But it was definitely a shocker. I was not expecting to see that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same. I think I'm in the same mindset. I think the mindset that I had was take out the one who's gonna keep them afloat. So because he really didn't know the characters either, because Raiden, like when he joined the group was a constant. So there was no new, I guess, additional members that joined apart from him and Jackson. Yeah, he would just go out and pretty much try to take out the main, I guess, pillar of support. So
Interesting. Awesome.
He also asked what was running through the minds of other players who played the characters that knew the cloned Fallen characters.
What was the question?
So basically, like I think at the time it was just Bree and Simon, who knew those characters. Like, what were going through your head when those characters popped up?
I think what was going through my head was the same as what Melody was going through. Just the shock of, oh shit, like I'm gonna have to. Yeah, they're kind of ghosts and reflections of the people we fought with, but it was still shocking in a sense, where it's just like both myself and Melody had to get our head in the game and try to like fend off people that like we knew they weren't real. We knew that they were not actually there, but it was still that like mental block that doesn't allow you to do such thing. And so yeah, it was fun, but like from role playing that, but yeah, that's me.
It was just a case of they're not real. Don't get hit by them. Because, Leo being a monk can really fuck up a halfling. So I was like, avoid.
100%. I can't really answer that one.
Question for you, Alex. When we traveled back in time, were there any actions we could have done to change the future or our present?
No. The way I time travel was the way things happen means it's already happened that way. So it was kind of, I didn't really want to railroad you guys down a path. So little changes could have slipped through, but it was sort of like the big events. Like the reason Malachi is king is because you guys saved him from the Golden City, so it was always already all predestined, sort of in the same way a book is. And that's how I sort of wanted to show it. Now, maybe if you time traveled now, it would be different because the big guy in the sky isn't writing your stories anymore. So it's sort of, I sort of tried to keep it on a linear path, as it were, so that we didn't have like branching off different timelines and crazy stuff.
Would there have been a way of us not using the artifact, and still stopping the Bounties chase?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%. That was a big, because I know for a while there was a big thing about you guys not putting it together and just keeping it apart. And yeah, no, it was 100%. You wouldn't have learned a lot of history about the stuff, but it didn't reveal. It revealed more about Malachi and who he was. It was sort of more of that arc than it was about the Bounties chase arc. And
Wasn't it
yeah,
the thing that
definitely
triggered Azek as well?
it was also the thing that triggered Azek as well. So if you hadn't done that, it would have gone the original ending. So it would have been the Alkane fight would have been the ending. So it was quite a big pivotal moment actually for you guys. Without you knowing really, which I suppose is sort of life. You make choices in the moment and then they affect you down the line.
True.
My
yeah.
next question is for Lauren, because everyone else got to say, like in the last episode, what our characters would have done after. What would Finch and Persephone be up to after the end of the Bounties chase?
Oh, well, Persephone already kind of got her happy ending, honestly. She would just go off, raise her family, start her own potion shop, that sort of thing. Finch, I think after being slighted of being kicked out by the Cormyrean Thieves Guild, I think she would have absolutely gone on like a months long undercover operation to overthrow the whole thing and made herself the self-proclaimed queen of the underworld. Run everything on her terms, sort of deal.
Nice.
Like the idea that Mal would be with her the whole way and just like fucking shit up.
Yeah.
Like now that he's free from any kind of responsibility in this new reality.
Yeah, what I would have explored with Finch had you been able to stay for the rest of the game would have been, because I had originally had Malachi going with you into the Darkhold, and what he would have experienced was this whole problem of not being able to fully give himself to Finch and fully make because he was still sort of stuck in the past as well. And so that's hence why he was split at the end into two separate people, one who loved Finch with all his heart, which he did, and then the other who loved Johnson with all his heart, and they sort of became twins in that. So yeah, it was kind of a strange ending for them, but I liked that it gave both characters a happy ending.
Could I ask a question to you, Alex? Something I'm still mystified on from back when I
Yeah.
think we're in the Underdark. Could you please describe that thing to me that Quinn went through as a spider? I still don't quite get it.
Okay. This is a wall.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
There was a crack in the wall, right?
Okay.
It was a line, a crack line. Okay, it's not hard. This isn't maths.
That's what she
It's well, I suppose it is now. Yeah. This is a wall and a line, and it's a crack. You go through the crack,
How
and
big
it's
is
on
the
the other
crack?
side. The crack is 60-foot
Is there a hole
tall.
on the other side
Hell
of the
yeah.
crack?
Yeah, it's hard to explain. It's glowing. The crack is glowing. It's the ring
They
of
installed
fire.
an LED up in there?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I believe the
In case
crack
you want to
led,
do it without the lights on.
How big?
the crack led to the
Um,
Promised Land, didn't it?
It
It
did.
led to the Feywild. Yes, yeah, the Promised Land. Yeah.
Oh my god.
If there was one thing you could change about your campaign, I can say it now. I don't give a fuck anymore. Sorry, guys. Some people are just assholes, and that's how life is.
But seriously, were there any?
It's a crack. It's a motherfucking crack in the wall. No, go on, say.
What more?
What more?
So I'm looking back through my notes, and there's some things I remember you saying that you'd removed from the original story, and one of them was the Red Wizards of the Fae.
Yes.
Was it Zaztam, the wizard?
Yes.
What was the
that's
original
correct.
thing that was going to happen there?
That was going to be a plot about Cormup, and sort of they sort of seeing it as free real estate and sort of setting up shop there to sort of get a new foothold in sort of Cormid. It's sort of a bad way to put it, I suppose. But yeah, they sort of
It's free real estate.
they would have started setting up shop there, and due to the sort of events that had happened there was strange chaos magic there, sort of wild magic there that they would have attempted to harness, and who knows what would have happened. Yeah, it was sort of just a sort of thing in my head at some point. It wasn't perhaps the greatest plot ever, but
in other words, it's like someone walking into Baghdad after the Iraq War and going free real estate.
You know,
oh my god,
kind of, yeah.
No.
But they had magic, so they can fix it quite easily. But yeah.
Jumping on
Yeah.
to Simon's question, were there any other storylines that we didn't pick up?
Yeah, there was a few. I introduced an NPC that you guys never followed up. Her name was Polly. She appeared in one episode in can't remember when. You guys got to Eagle Peak and she was there. She was in a bar. She had 3 lines and she left. But there was a whole story about the Thunder Steps, which were the south part of Corma near Eversole, or where Eversole had been, which were heavily sort of nomadish. So a lot of people lived out there, nomads. And there would have been stories about lightning beasts that hunted the area, actual beasts made of lightning. And she was one of the people out there who was sort of a nomad who would have you would have sort of helped hunt down this famed lightning beast. It was just gonna be a little side story. And then of course there's a Zounds Hold, which no one ever went to, but there was some really crazy shit in there. That could have been a good story had you guys gone sort of west. I was going to have a prisoner escape from a Zounds Hold, and you guys had to try and bring them back. Yeah, there's a few plots here and there, but really, the most fully developed plots are the ones you went to because you went to them. So I had time to develop them. But I had a lot of different ideas, like the Blue Dragon. That was going to be another idea if you guys sailed on to the monolith. That was going to be sort of a portal to a different plane of existence that hadn't been visited in millennia and was not on any maps and stuff, which I believe now is the Mushroom Kingdom. So yeah, that's how you get there.
What was in that tower north of Half Hap? The one that...
Yes, I do know that one. That one changed, but at the very beginning, that's where Adri was for a time. She went there. I try and remember the reason now, but she was there for a time, and she would have been someone you could have met. I think she was hunting bird or something, or something along those lines, sort of searching for something. And then I eventually changed it, but yeah, it was originally going to be part of Adri's story. And I also had, at one point, Max and Aranis living there. And sort of they moved away for a while. That was their summer home. But sort of it was sort of secretly to keep an eye on Sybil without her knowing. So, it was sort of we know she's a problem and we've let her go. So we should probably do something about this. And yes, Ghostblade, I am Jigsaw. Thank you. I ride a tricycle everywhere I go. Dylan.
Alex, what happened to my keep?
I was gonna ask that.
Well, the Wizards of the Red Fate had to go somewhere, and that's free real estate. So
I got the deed.
No, I'm joking. It would be infested with beasts from the swamp, but once you cleared it out, it would have been yours, buddy.
Still, even though they sent the adventurers in to get turned into sandwiches.
Yeah, I mean, they all the demons eventually died out or were killed because of the darkness. So when it got reset, it would have just been an empty keep, because if you remember, you made it so that hell was a therapy place. So
what I'm hearing is summer home.
Yeah, maybe if that's what you want. Yeah, you can think on it and don't tell me, because I'm not going to run that anymore.
I do have a question for you, Alex.
Oh no. Okay.
Whatever happened to Dwayne the Rock?
Yes.
He was killed a day after you met him. He was struck by lightning and crashed into a cart full of dynamite. No, he went off. He found his one true love. They settled down, had a family, and now they're surrounded by loads of little pebbles.
Did he live a fast
they'll
and
grow-
furious life?
Yes, but he was all about family in the end.
More important than family.
Nothing's more important than family,
Nothing's more important than family.
you know. And really, he saw Jackson as an honorary family member as well.
Oh.
Family.
That was a shocker for me, befriending a giant bird like that.
That was cool.
That was
Didn't see that coming.
amazing. That was amazing.
Lovely.
I wanted to put a spin on, you know, it's a bird, you know, they can be friendly. They can also be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows the difference? Apparently Jackson.
So my next question, Alex.
Yeah.
When you wrote the story, what were the major changes that you made from when we started versus how we ended?
Oh, okay. That's a simple question. A lot. I mean, a lot. Like, you're going to learn this very soon. Your campaign will not end how it begins. You will not foresee the ending whatsoever. Like, I added the Azik plotline in about session 11. And started seeding little things in that because originally it was arcane, obviously. But then I was like, why would I have my main villain at the very beginning? Why not just sort of leave little tidbits, do the sort of Chroma Conclave Vecna kind of thing? So like the Chroma Conclave seems like the big thing, and then it's actually, no, it's this old man who's
They
bald
were
and
supposed to
weird.
be the big thing. Vecna was just an add-on because of it was on stream.
Oh,
The Chroma Conclave was supposed to be the original end of the campaign.
oh.
Oh,
Oh.
Well,
Really?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never knew that.
Matt
Well, I
threw it
fucked
on
up.
because they wanted to extend it because they had a thing being built up. So Matt basically threw the Vecna stuff in there, not last minute, but I think pretty much as the Chroma Conclave stuff was kicking in.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I didn't know that. So I thought I was, following a cool template that Matthew Mercer had set out, and I could maybe, sort of try and replicate his kind of storytelling, which obviously you can't do.
I mean, you
because none
did
of
in the
us are Matthew
second
Mercer.
campaign. If you think about Ukatoa maybe as being the potential big bad, and then actually not being.
I suppose, yeah. But there was sort of choices you guys made, like putting the artifact together that started the Azik one off. That you sort of sealed Alkane's death. I have a thing with A names. I think I see myself as a villain.
Yeah.
And maybe you too, Anthony. And and so it's
No, you
it's
just
a
see him as
problem.
an ancient being.
Yes, that's
I'll
it.
take that.
Yeah.
Painful arsehole.
Yes. Yeah, so it was there's a lot. That's a hard question. That's what she said.
Can I ask an easy one?
Okay.
What were the other cards in the new deck of many things?
Yes.
Yes. Give
Let's
it.
go. Let's give it.
Oh, okay. There was one where I had you roll a d6 and one of your limbs fell off, including your head.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you rolled a 6, we rolled twice and 2 fell off.
2 seconds.
Oh shit. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
the
3? Hang on. Please wait. I did not prepare to have roll 20 open, so
5.
Oh, I think that's a bad one.
I was like, what? You rolled.
It's loading. I
Okay.
wasn't prepared for this. I thought I'd close the
A
door on
5-2.
this. It still says loading.
Loading.
So this is a harder question than we thought.
Well, in the meantime, Ghostblade asked how Finch got Lost's dagger, and Titania actually gave it to her. But she was in Willow form at that time because Willow brought everyone into the party.
That's true. Yes, she did.
Yeah.
She did. It was her plan, and that's why at the end, she realized that she should stop meddling. Okay. Who got? What did you get, Bree?
I got 3.
Oh, a 3. You lose your left leg. And Sister Matthew and Carolina, you would lose your right arm.
I'm fine with that.
Oh no. Not all right.
I'll grow it back. Jackson will grow it back.
Yeah. I like me. Sister Matthew was a lefty.
I'm trying to remember which ones is balance in the original deck. I could just bring up the other deck of many things and just compare. I forget which ones are and which ones aren't because they're pretty similar. I don't think balance is. Here we are. I'll tell you in a second. Oh no, balance is. Let's have a look here. Flames. A powerful devil becomes your enemy. The devil seeks. Oh no, we've done.
Yeah,
No, we've done
that was
one's
the
in there.
original.
Weird that. Is that called something else? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway. Falls in there. Gems in there. Sorry, guys. It's been a while since I created this, so.
While you're looking for that, I do actually have a question. Number 100 on the, what is it? The
Wild magic.
Wild magic.
Wild
Triple.
magic.
was it Wild Magic or the Bag
Wild
of Mystery?
Magic. Nope.
I think it was.
Oh
Wild
wait,
magic.
was it Bag of Mystery?
No, it was
Both.
Wild Magic.
You talking about the one that Alex said he would have to message me about?
Yes, I think.
So that was to give me a second 9th level spell slot. Permanently.
Oh.
You what?
Oh, one good.
Whoa.
Damn.
That's
Never rolled it,
Oh
but
shit.
that's nutty.
What was
That
one?
is.
to
Yeah.
roll 10 times. Because I actually got one
Ooh.
once.
Yeah, you did get one.
You
more.
roll once
Right.
once per round for a minute.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
Yeah, that's when he was going off and just colors.
It's like boom, 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 boom.
Okay, so 1 was Supreme. Character's highest ability score increases by 3. All their other ability scores are reduced by 1. The change is not a bonus or a penalty of any kind. It's a pure and simple increase and decrease. Let me see. Okay, 1's called Talons, although I feel like that's 1 as well. Why is this not doing it right? Yeah, that's right. Sorry, guys. I'm
You're
really
okay.
trying to- 1's called Troll. Character is robbed 50% of their material wealth. This is any amount of trade coins, gems, jewels, artwork, or mundane financial gear. Functional gear is left unaffected. There is no prevention of this loss. The Hanged Man. The character dies instantly. Let me have a look. Sorry, guys.
You okay?
Good.
Oh man, could you guys imagine if that angel would have picked the one that killed him immediately?
The Jinn, the character is under the impression they have drawn the moon card and granted 1d3 wishes they must take on the spot. These wishes are horribly corrupted yet granted. Once the character makes their final wish, they are made aware that they drew the Jinn card.
What you're saying is
Oh.
you added a bunch of bad cards to the deck.
I'm not saying I didn't do that. But that's life.
I remember you telling me that was exactly what you did.
I think is that all of them? I think like there should be more, but I'm struggling to find them right now. Someone asked me another question. Oh,
with
the
the
dark one. A powerful dark entity trapped within the ancient many deck of many things is released.
Oh.
Can alter fate and probability.
I feel like that's
Right.
the one that Bree would have picked.
Oh,
What's up?
shit. So with the Bag of Wondrous items or Wondrous Mystery, I forgot what it's called. Was there
Yeah.
actually a dragon in one of those?
Yeah,
Like,
there
things?
was. And
What
you never
number was
pulled it.
that one?
Was
I
it
think
number
it's like-
2?
No, I think it was. Let me have a look. It was an ancient white dragon. And it was number, I think it was it 40 something or 50 something?
42.
Yeah, 52.
52.
52.
Oh, that's right, because we rolled really close to that.
You rolled
Yeah.
51 and 53, but you never
Yeah.
rolled 52.
So what
Oh,
was
shit.
100? Because I keep thinking that 100 was something bad.
100 was it was a scroll of psychic scream.
Oh,
Oh,
Mm.
That would have been good.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which would have been cooler at lower levels, but you know.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was that. Nothing too scary.
Mm-hmm.
I think I will actually borrow the question that Bria asked for me and Liam and direct it to Lauren. Was there any aspect of your character's backstory that you wanted to explore but didn't get a chance to since you had to leave?
Well, there was a thread that Alex kind of handed to me that I didn't pull on, which I think at one point you slightly mentioned like a reason that Torment had foresight abilities within the Shadowfell. I can't remember the exact wording of what happened. You
Yeah.
said that, but
Yeah. Do you want me to
go
say
for
that
it.
now?
Go for
Okay.
it.
So because time is wibbly wobbly, when the Darkhold was entering entering your multiverse, as it pressed through the boundaries, which is something you saw in the Way of the Long Death. You said when you were walking through the negative plane, you saw that something looked like something had traveled through recently. That was the Darkhold. As it went through the Shadowfell to get to material plane, it caused it sort of gave off to whatever was around it, and that's sort of why the negative plane and the Shadowfell were quite tied closely to the Long Death monks, because their whole, and why Isaac visited them, because it's all based on, he sort of went visiting them before he'd done the Darkhold, but because he already did the Darkhold in the future, it already existed. It's kind of crazy like that.
Yeah.
But as the Darkhold pressed through the Shadowfell, all babies and all children that were born there at the time were granted some kind of either space or time manipulation. And Torment was born in the Shadowfell at the time the Darkhold passed through there. Because as it passed through different planes, it passed through different planes in different phases of time. So it didn't have to be linear, because that's just, the Darkhold isn't linear. It's not a linear construct. It's just a thing. A thing that was originally made for something very different to what Isaac used it for, because AO made it, and the Darkholds were originally just sort of early initial designs of monoliths that Isaac, because AO put all different kinds of weird magic into them, Isaac could use to bend space and time around with. Of course, to horrifying effect. So yeah, Torment was granted those abilities because as it pushed through that plane of existence, she was sort of being born at the time, or was born at the time, yeah. And it affected the children because that's when they grow and their DNA develops and such. Sorry, I talked a lot then.
You're fine.
You're
But
fine.
but yeah, that was something it's not something I really would have wanted to explore in game, because right as I left was when like the campaign was coming to a close anyway. So there was no time to go off and explore other things like that. But I definitely think that'd be something she would have done after the game. In her epilogue, was at some point she probably would have traveled to the Shadowfell just to like learn more about where her family came from and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yes.
There was something
Dawn?
that I was curious about.
Oh.
I remember like for Finch, I remember in game, you know, obviously like her and Sybil, you know, they had their little rivalry. Um, what was it that happened? Like, did something happen between Finch and her parents, or mainly with Finch and her father that like either drove her away, or did they just fall? Like, did that relationship just fall apart?
Not necessarily. In some ways that was kind of me projecting like both the experience of being born into a large family and also being the oldest child, where you just have so many expectations put on you, and at the same time, if you're, you kind of have to be exceptional, otherwise you kind of just get lost in the crowd in like a large family. But also I don't know, just kind of like that oldest child thing of you have to be the one to like carry the family, carry the next generation sort of thing. And
Sure.
coming from such an exceptional family as she did, as we made, um it was just like that pressure of, especially being born without any magic powers or without any strength like that, um just not knowing, you know feeling very inadequate, I think. And then seeing her cousin being taken under one of her parents' wings like that when she couldn't be was just painful in that way. So yeah, a lot of her thing was just trying to find her own place in the world that, could be her own and could make her exceptional, because she wasn't getting that around her family. And that's kind of why she left in that respect. So it's nothing against her actual family, more just the unseen pressures that were put on her.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anyone
got-
else have any questions? Oh, Dylan, go ahead.
I got a question for you, Alex. This is more just like not a specific thing, but more of like a DMing style and how you tackle that kind of thing. I was really wondering because like there were a lot of points during the game where you had these like huge moments that played out, and like the description and the detail of it was so like elaborate. It seemed planned out, but at the same time, a lot of times like the circumstances leading up to it didn't seem like that could be something you planned out. So I was wondering how much of that was like improv versus like you going through like the different um like paths that we could go down, trying to like write something up ahead of time.
Okay, so at the very beginning, if you watch the very early episodes, you'll see I'm reading fucking I have lines of notes, and like I've got full fucking speeches and sentences and stuff. Like I used to have like 6 pages per session of stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Final 10 sessions, we're looking like half a page. We're looking like half. I planned a lot of it out, but I was like, I don't need this anymore. I can do this up here. And that worked most of the time, but not always. Though there are key moments in the story that I wanted to hit, and I really hoped we'd hit. We didn't hit them all. And then a lot of it is just, I have a very overactive imagination, and I'm very good at saying it. I'm shit at writing it down, but I'm very good at saying what I can see in my head. And so you sort of just learn, because I did this for such a long time, and it has been a long time. I sort of just learned to do it, and to just, and I would really try my best to write descriptions. I always felt inadequate with adding descriptions. I that's something I still feel inadequate about. Thanks for nodding, Simon. And
No,
no, I'm joking.
I'm just saying it because I'm the
you
same.
understand. Yeah. No, I'm only joking. But it's true in the way of I always look at other people and think, wow, they're so much better at me than that. And yeah, it's an interesting line. There was a few, like, I had to improvise a lot of the session where you went and faced Melody's mom, because I if you recall, I deleted everything.
Yeah.
Like not just the sessions notes.
Yeah.
I deleted the whole campaign notes, and I still did, and I still had to make it up as I went along from what I could remember. And luckily, I remembered a lot because I don't have much else to think about. So I did that, and I'd say it got a lot less planned as I went on, but I did try to always make the effort to have something at least in my brain for how things went. And I'd had fucking story points on the fly. That's something Bree's going to learn very quickly, that you'll be talking and then you'll say something and you'll think, shit, now I have to plan for that. And it's going to be 3 weeks worth of planning for a story arc that I've just mentioned. And you know who that is? That's Agatha. That's who Agatha is. Agatha didn't exist 24 hours before that session. And I was just like, we need a little side mission to get them like a little side story. And I came up with one of, in my personal opinion, one of my favorite characters. So I'd say it's 50-50 scripted and then improvised, but I'd say it started off more like 80-20 and then got to sort of like 30-70 at the other end by the end of it. So yeah.
I just gotta say, like, your insecurities aside, you did, like, honestly, a lot of times you blew me out of the water with some of those descriptions. Like,
well, thank you.
You want to talk about making someone feel inadequate? I go from that to my home game. I go, fucking stuttering the whole time. Like, interpersonal dialogue, whatever. We're cool. We're fine. I feel good in that regard. Descriptions, I always flub those. So, like, that skill alone to me was super impressive.
Oh, thank you. It really is just experience, to be honest.
Yeah, like legit. I think I can speak for everyone. Like, there was a few sessions where like we turned the cameras off and you told us that you improvised almost everything.
Yeah.
We never knew it. Like
Dude, that shit blew me away.
Flawless.
I'm trying to think which session I 100% improvised because I had no notes, because I had no idea what you guys were doing. I was like, I'm just gonna see what happens. Let's just why not? I can do this. And sometimes they end up being the best sessions because it allowed you guys to sort of run with the story, and I could just be like, yes-anding you all the time, like, and that's the best improv. You say, can we do this? And I say yes, and then this happens, and then you're like, but I was only joking about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'm like, well, it's too fucking bad. But going back to a point, because I just saw Ghostblade bring it up in the chat, and just going back very quickly, I've never really been angry about a divine intervention, but the Baba Yaga one, yeah, no, that you shit all over my Halloween, and I will never not be pissed about that. And I don't recall what I did for that Halloween then, but you fucking ruined my Halloween story, and I wasn't. I think I did the fake Hydra instead. I think I switched it up to the fake Hydra in Collinwood, because of we didn't get Baba Yaga, and I wanted Baba Yaga.
Dude, that shit was so anticipated. Bree wrote that into my campaign.
Yeah, I know, because I wrote it into the campaign because I'm like, I want a Baba Yaga. And so I had my character have made it not double crossed like a witch and shit. And I'm like, I bet, because I really wanted to see it.
I'm not gonna lie, I felt so bad about it, but it was what Jackson would have did. I didn't think it was gonna work.
Yeah, you did that a lot.
A crazy ancient
Anthony.
witch who flew around in a magical cauldron, not even on a broom, in a cauldron. She flew in a cauldron around the earth. And like, you wouldn't be able to kill her, but you would have had to like battle her minions, and it would have been so much fun. And she'd have like flown away at the end going, I'll get you next time, you crazy kids. That's how she would have spoke. Because you have to subvert people's expectations. She would have fired off in a mortar and pestle and flown away. And we'll never get to see it now because of
I guess
Anthony.
we'll never know.
His Anthony wanted to be God.
He does that a lot.
Than he already was.
He does that a lot.
So many more times than me.
When he did the divine intervention and Melody wasn't evil anymore, and I'm just like, I wanted to kind of
you were actually pissed off at that.
Like,
you were angry.
Yeah, I remember Bree was upset.
I just thought it was like something cool, because I was just, like, at that moment I'm like, I kind of feel like not playing Melody was like kind of getting boring, but I'm like, there's nothing, like no fire or anything. Whatever, I wanted to shake it up, and then I'm like, I was only able to do this for like 30 minutes, Anthony. What the fuck? I switched I like switched my spells to be a little more sneaky and all that shit, but nah. I'm like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do with these? And so I had to wait.
Nope.
I had to wait until I leveled up to change my spells back. I'm like, thanks.
So
not
Lauren,
bitter.
you're playing a cleric in this campaign, right? I just want you to remember this for like if anything happens. This is how grateful that these did. Okay, just remember this.
I will remember.
I guess it balances out that I kind of did most of the healing.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, Liam, try and pull that shit on me next campaign. See what happens.
I have
Don't
one
challenge
final
Liam. You know he'll inadvertently do it.
Yeah, he will do it.
I
He
know,
I
we
know
all
he
a
will.
mistake.
I know he will.
One last question for Alex.
Okay.
Where else could we have found Lord Colespear in our adventures?
Yeah. Because
Where else was he?
bitch?
Because there were so many moments, like, I think when we found him in the tower, like, in the mountains or whatever, like, he said something, and I'm like, is this fucking Lord Colespear? I'm like, and then, like,
Yeah,
it's just like, I'm Lord Colespear, I'm like, God damn
But
it!
the best bit is even
everywhere.
he didn't plan for that. He was just like, I'm just gonna see where this story takes me, and then he just kept getting captured because he was fucking useless as a human. He was like,
gets
shit,
captured.
not again.
Everywhere! Where else could we have found him?
You know, people like trying to kill him, and they would be like dragging him on a horse, and he would just still be alive at the end of the journey. And they were like, "Fuck, we'll just lock him up, I guess." There was somewhere I was going to include him, but I didn't include him because I didn't want to. I think it was towards the end. Where was I gonna? Oh, he was gonna be somewhere, and I was like, no, keep him out of it for a bit so that they don't expect him to show up again. So I was like, no, we'll keep him out of it. And I just sort of was like, you know, let's just, I can't remember, but I'm sure if you'd have gone to some obscure places, he'd probably be like in the fucking nest of the lightning beast or something, like one of the eggs or something, like, oh jeez, how did I end up here? Or, you know, he'd been in a Zound's hold, just locked up, like, there's been a mistake. He was probably like visiting, and then the sorcerer escaped and switched them, and he was in the cell and he wasn't meant to be.
I'm surprised we didn't see him in the time travel arc. He was.
Oh yeah.
He would have been there.
Yeah.
How do you know he didn't? No, he didn't.
See, that would have been so insane though.
That would
Because
have
it's
been
like,
funny as fuck.
how have you not aged and all of that? So
He would have
yeah.
just been like, L'Oreal, I'm worth it. And then just moved on with his life.
Skincare does a lot good for you. So
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah.
Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl.
So this is a Wendy's. But yeah, no. So Colespear was I wanted my big thing for Colespear was he was a writer who was alone, and so he created a world to not be as alone. And I put a lot of myself into that as well. And I think it was kind of therapeutic to because I feel like a lot of people were expecting this grand being of ancient power and wealth, but really, if I'd been alone for all of existence, if I had to create time and space and then like everything, I think I'd be a little fucked up as well. And so then you make gods and you go, this is what gods should be like, but you don't actually see yourself as a god because you just see yourself as the person who made them, you know? Yeah. So I wanted to sort of portray an almost still an omnipotent being, the most powerful of all beings, but also have him be like kind of lonely, you know, and add that little bit of humanity, which, you know, he kind of gave to humanity as the soul. So that was my sort of thought process of it. So yeah. But also very bad at being captured. just very trusting, very naive, and got lured into many a carriage by people selling children's sweets, and that's just how it works.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all my questions. Does anyone else have anything else?
I was gonna say to Alex, like when you wrote up the characters for the members of the Bounties chase, did you have any kind of alternative concepts in terms of like different characters that you thought maybe this will do good, and then you changed your mind later on?
Ooh.
Okay, I didn't have any for the Bounties chase, but I did have one for a character. You may remember her as the Joanna.
Yes.
Who was originally in my mind Yulan the Dread, before I came up with the whole time travel arc, originally before the campaign, and then sort of going into the beginning of the campaign, she was Yulan the Dread, who had sort of gone into hiding as a human after sort of like being defeated by, it would have all played out except for the part where you guys killed her in the past, you would have killed her in the present. But then I got onto the time travel arc and I was thinking about all that, and I was like, actually it would be quite cool to say Yulan's been dead, that's why they're missing, but no one's ever found them because no one's ever found their lair. So I went along with that, and then when you guys were going to Fort Helm in like session 40 or something, there was an outcropping in the road and you guys went left, and that was the way to Fort Helm. But if you'd gone right, you could have made a series of checks and ended up in the lair with the giant skeleton of Yulan the Dread. So that would have been sort of a prelude to what was to come for you guys and what had already happened technically. You wouldn't have known how she died, but you would have at least seen that.
Yeah.
So, but originally, yeah, Joanna was originally Yulan, but then I changed it because I was like, that's a bit obvious.
Was Joanna the one that ended up being there was a red dragon? Was she the tavern keeper? Who was the tavern keeper who was the red dragon?
I don't think that was my campaign. I think that was in R&R.
That was the previous
Yeah,
campaign.
yeah.
I don't know.
No, Joanna was who Yano flirted with because she was the
she
dragon
was a
anthropologist or whatever.
Yeah. She reappeared briefly in like session 50 something. She was in Erebor, but she was moving up to the next town over because of the dragon attacks.
I have my Wikipedia right here. That's why.
Yeah. So, yeah. But that's it, really. That's sort of all I can tell you about the campaign. If there are any more questions, let me know. But yeah.
What happened with I'm trying to remember his name. The kid who liked Quinn, but then
Robin.
Thank you.
Robin. Yeah. Because I don't obviously know what Quinn would have wanted in the future, so I think he probably he still dropped in from time to time, say hello and stuff, but he would have just continued on with his life in the Feywild and probably become more of a sort of emissary now that Queen Titania wasn't getting involved as much. So he would have moved him and his family up to the Golden Sea, and that would probably what happened to him. I don't know his future, but yeah.
Yeah, the vibes that I think I and Quinn got by the end were that any interest that was there was gone. But to be honest, I never really played Quinn with the intent of having a romance. To be honest, I wanted because he was so young as well. I wanted the characters kind of just go into a campaign without the attachment side of things. So
yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my question too, because I got that vibe as well. Like the last time that we saw him, it seemed like he lost interest.
Yes, yeah, a little bit. I think he was a bit put off, and maybe their personalities didn't work. So it was kind of a blend of multiple things, I think.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions, y'all?
No.
I have one for you, Alex. It's been 2 years. When are we getting our level 20 battle royal?
Would you actually want one? Would you want a level 20 battle royale?
Yes.
Go all out. Yeah.
I
We didn't get one last year, so
You know what? We'll throw it on an extra life. And if we raise a certain amount of money, I'll do you guys a level 20 battle royale. Set in a therapist's office in hell.
Yes.
This is to get everything out in the open, folks. Air it all out.
And you can choose whichever character you would like to portray, and we'll up them to level 20. And you can slug it out for the title of Ultimate Slugger. Okay, then I guess this isn't it. I guess there's still gonna be more, maybe. I don't know. I keep to get away, and
we're gonna keep
dragging me back.
Oh,
It's gonna be canon too.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
This is in the therapist's office.
We'll
So I could
say
choose
it takes
between
place.
Jackson and Leo?
We'll say it takes place on the night Melody found the book, and I said there was going to be a big party in Quinn and Melody's tavern. So why not? Why not just say there's going to be a big battle royale there? Yeah, you can choose between Jackson or Leo, and Liam, you've got a whole Wikipedia page to go through. Lauren, you can choose between Finch and Persephone as well. So yeah.
So if we're gonna keep dragging you back in, we gotta have like a Finch and Malachi wedding episode.
I want my beach episode. I want my beach episode, Alex.
Thanks, Simon.
Shots.
I want you to let it die.
No.
No. We're like 80 years old and we're like role playing their grandkids. Well, guys, then I guess we'll end it there. But thank you everyone for playing. And I guess we'll see you for a battle royale maybe at some point, depending on Extra Life and maybe some one shots. I don't know, but I have been considering maybe doing a new campaign in the future. Not soon, people. We have a lot of new stuff coming up with Brianna.
You keep throwing my name out.
Simon's to finish. And I'm sure Liam's going to run something at some point, which will involve certain familiar faces. And then Dylan's going to run something soon, I believe. And then I know Anthony's got a campaign in the works. So keep a lookout for all of that.
No, if we did Anthony's campaign, it would last until we're 80.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's just the first session as well.
Oh, Simon, Ghost Play TV wants to know, after Forge Through Fire ends, Fireflies versus the Goat Busters.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Assuming the Goat Busters is still alive.
That is a very fair point.
You know.
Yeah. Still.
I feel like we're doing all right so far.
I think we're okay.
Liam can go through his Wikipedia page of characters. And, that would be fun. But thank you, everyone, for joining. Have Thursday nights off for a little while, but not for too long, because over on Fandom Reactions channel, there'll be some Session Zero starting next week, I want to say.
Next Thursday with Simon Session Zero.
Shit,
You guys can
that's
tune
next Thursday.
in. Tune in 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Fandom Reactions channel.
I'm Pulse.
I better make a character.
Oh no.
What'd you just say, Simon?
What did you call her?
What did you just say?
Kidding.
We're going to end it there. So, thank you,
I was dead
everyone,
within the first hour.
This descends into utter madness. Thank you for watching for the final time.
Nope.
Apparently not. We'll be back, I guess, at some point. Fuck me.
Time on the Bounties chase.
Coming soon.
We may
That's
see you
it.
for a battle royale. I don't know about one shots. We'll see. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Go to bed. Have a good day. Bye bye.